It is Wine Wednesday. All right, so today we are gonna start from like square one on winemaking. So we harvested pumpkins. I have never tried pumpkin wine, but we have a super big wheelbarrow in the garage full of pumpkins. So I figured, usually we give them away and we still have a ton to give away. But my brother-in-law pulled through for me and he got me another carboy. So I'm gonna make 6 gallons of pumpkin wine. And about 7 months from now, we'll be trying some pumpkin wine and seeing if I'm ever gonna take this on again. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would compare this process with pumpkin to painting. Okay, it's all in the prep work. The painting is the easy part. So basically, I guess all these years of watching the Food Network has paid off because I've been my own sous chef last night, and I've gotten most of this done so we can kind of whiz through the process. So if you're ever interested in this for real, like making wine, I bought like a simple little book, Making Homemade Wine by Robert Cluett, and I don't know where I picked this up. I'm guessing some little gift store someplace once upon a time. So $3.95 is what I invested in my book on how to do it and, going over every step by step. And then I also invested, because I'm such a big spender, I probably spent another $3.95 on this Winemaker's Recipe Handbook. So this has got like everything in here, just recipes to make 1 gallon. Okay, so then you just multiply it times however many. So we're making pumpkin today. There's my recipe. And they're basically all the same process and ingredients depending on the fruit you're using, okay? So we're using pumpkin, like I said. So here's my pumpkin. Now this called for 4 pounds of pumpkin meat per gallon, okay? So I've been doing this for a while. So like my mom taught me, you follow the recipe the first time and then you kind of just do your own thing based on how that turned out. So you cut your pumpkin down on the side, like this on the side of the stem. You're gonna open it up. It's gonna be full of seeds. And then you gotta scrape out all the seeds. So scrape, scrape, scrape. I use a grapefruit spoon and it worked pretty well. It's a process, and then you have to peel it. I'm opening my drawer here, I didn't have this out. Then you have to peel it, not kidding. And that was a process, but again, put on your favorite playlist, it won't take that long. So I went through 9 pumpkins. This is gonna be number 10 and I'll add this at the end here. So after you have peeled them all and you have these halves, then you need to run them through a food processor. Unless you really want this to take a year, you could, grind it, but they're wanting it grated, okay? So I have grated, you'll have to cut it into little chunks that are gonna fit in your food processor. And then it's, I filled it up many times and it looks like shredded cheese. It's all like these little shreds now, okay? So then you are going to fill up your bucket. So the bucket you're working from, okay? So these are 5-gallon ale pails that I get. And again, all these grates, this is what it looks like. Now the bag I use in this is actually a laundry bag, like a mesh bag that you would wash a fancy dress in or lingerie or whatever. Okay, so it's a larger one to fit my bucket. And then these high-end, high-dollar clothespins hold this along the sides as I fill this up, okay? So once I get that filled up, and I'm pretty close because you still need to close it over and zip it, okay? And again, I'm doing 6 gallons, and this has got measurements on the side where we're at, so you can kind of see from the outside where your water line is going to go, okay? So then you need to cover this all with water, and that's what's gonna start to degrade this. We're gonna call it a fruit, even though I think of pumpkin as a vegetable. But so you're gonna mix up many batches of simple syrup, which is just sugar in water, right? So I have boiled sugar in water, and you're just gonna continue to dump that onto your fruit until you're covered. And again, it calls for 2¼ pounds per gallon. You're welcome, Crystal Farmer Sugars. I'm buying sugar in the 25-pound bags when I'm in winemaking season because it just makes the most sense, right? And again, you're sugar content is really important because that is what is gonna change to alcohol to get your percentage of alcohol that you want in your finished product. So we're gonna, pretty much follow the recipe when it comes to that sugar. And then we're gonna add our chemicals. So you add some of the chemicals right away as it's degrading. So the first thing on here, acid blend. Pumpkin is not a highly acidic fruit, okay? So you need to have that acid present for this to work. Tannin is another thing that is not really present in this fruit, so you need to have it in there for it to work. So your recipes are gonna vary depending on your fruit. Does that make sense? And then the last thing again, these Camden tablets, and I talked about these before in a previous video. They need to be crushed up, and it tells you that right on the package, and it's 1 tablet per gallon. So I've crushed up 6 here, and we are ready. So we're just dumping this stuff in here, and like I say, we're gonna cover this with our sugar water. And then we just zip up this bag. I had 2 things I acid blend. Okay, so then we'll unclip this and we'll zip up our bag and continue to cover it with simple syrup and water until that bag is covered, okay? So then when that is all done, we're gonna stick the lid on it. And we've got our airlock, and I've sterilized this already. And again, before you start any of this, you have to sterilize your equipment, right? So here's my airlock that I filled with water, and there's a hole in here specifically for that. And of course, I've sterilized everything before I started. So that's how that all works. And then we just wait. We just wait for this to degrade. So every day I come in with this long spoon, and you just kind of moosh it around. Moosh. That I like to make up words. So that's my new word. We moosh it around and it's gonna start to ferment. Generally speaking, mine will start to ferment before I even pitch the yeast in it. So again, we just want this to kind of get mushy, and then I will be back with you and we will go through our next phase, our next process, okay? So yeah, I'm excited to try this one because I've heard things from local winemakers asking me, oh, have you ever tried pumpkin? Never even taste tested pumpkin, and they said it's delicious. So why not? I'm gonna give it a shot. So that is my process for today. I hope you get on board with this. It really is a fun hobby, and again, it's something that's really super fun to give as gifts. So all right, we'll touch base with you later when we get to the next step. All right, have a great day.